Yeah, and that's precisely how I feel like I've tried to frame it. It's like, why does it have to be? Because prior to this, conversation that I was hearing through these two individuals, my I tried to dumb it down, maybe I guess a bit more for myself, where I'm like, well, if we are humans and we're these beings that are going about their days trying to search for whatever goal it is that we're going after, either in our jobs or spiritually, and there's these other beings that live amongst us. I always associated it back to like ants, for example. It's like ants have their thing. They're doing what it is that they're doing in their communities or in their environments, and they're living amongst us. So it's like, why can't we live amongst whatever else we've created and now has grown or surpassed us? So I tried framing it for myself in that aspect, simply because maybe I'm just that optimistic of a person, and but I also don't like to think that it has to be a negative, that we can coexist. And it only reaffirmed that because it's like, okay, well, if the bond between humanity needs to be stronger, then maybe through this thing that we've created, and that wasn't the intention, it's gonna force us to resort to like, okay, now how do we mature as a collective on this earth? You know what I mean? Like, how do we grow our like unison across the globe, across the nation, and stuff like that? And I don't know. I feel like the way he framed it, it seems like it could force our hand in that direction.
Well, when it comes to people, you always got to remember the dynamic complexity. The only way that you're going to see that level of unity, it's just with time, maturity. Because when you look back at history, you have to look at it as in we've been maturing as a species. The way an infant matures into an adult and into a senior citizen, it just comes with time. Our race, humanity itself, just needs just more time.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I don't know how it came up in conversation, like in my with amongst my family, but I believe it was my grandma at some point was saying like, oh yeah, I remember when X Y Z, and it was a story about how kids, when she was raising kids and they were newborns, it was like 6 or 7 days before they even opened their eyes, or something to that extent, or whatever, that they were able to feed them and stuff like that, versus now you see them, like in the case of my son, he had some milk that he was drinking that was given to him at the hospital within the first 24 hours or something like that. I couldn't tell you exactly, but that's a difference that we've seen through evolution, and there's plenty of examples of that throughout society.
Yeah, so AI itself, it's something that, like anything else, research it, learn it. It's gonna be like any craft. The difference will be is whether you learn how to use the tool or you didn't learn how to use the tool. But ultimately, what I believe is it's gonna just create more experiences for life. As people, we should really be creators. We should really be artists, Renaissance people. That's what life should be. It shouldn't be all this hurry. It shouldn't be all this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And, just kindness. Like as people, we should just be kind.
Yeah.
We've gotten into this place right now in society that it's, look at me. Look at what I'm doing. Look at what I did. Look at who I beat. Look at what I surpassed. What it should be, from my perspective, is that what can I do for the greater good? Ultimately, when you're thinking about the greater good, and the greater good, the best way to explain it is something that makes everyone feel good. I'm not gonna say like, hey, this is the way, this is the right rule, no, it should bring peace to everyone around. That's the greater good. There's no set There's no words for it because even words themselves, right? As we use them, words are meant to translate meaning, to translate a feeling. Like, hey, listen, this is what I feel, and this is I'm transferring my feeling to you through these words.
Right.
You know, because that's what communication is. It's a transference of feelings. But people need to start asking what is the greater good. But unfortunately, the greater good keeps getting lost through self-interest. A lot of people start with the perspective of the greater good. A lot of people start with the perspective that I'm doing the right thing and I'm thinking about others. But the question is, once their needs are met, once they reach a status, are they still that same person?
Yeah, it seems like they changed. As far as I'm concerned, it seems like that.
Yeah, a lot of people, you would think they change, but then all of a sudden now their behavior retracts. Now all of a sudden that ego that they killed so they can reach this level, now all of a sudden it makes its way back. Then you have others who they come off and they're like, hey, let me help this greater good, right? But unfortunately, they, through their talent, they develop entitlement. It's, if I can tell you, using my organization, the ones that, you know, we've all built together, right? Like, you're a blessing. Preston's a blessing. Shanae's a blessing. So many. Everyone's a blessing.